Just hold on, Sid. All right. So, Joanna, which community are you in?
Yellowknife.
Oh, okay, great. How many kids do you have, or like what are their ages? Just give me a.
I have two, almost 4-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Okay, great. And do you have much gardening experience yourself?
I've been gardening for about 5 years, on and off.
Oh, okay, great.
Not a lot, but I'm not a first-time gardener, I guess.
Okay, great. And do you, have your kids been involved in your gardening to date?
Yeah, they have been a little bit.
Okay, great. Did you have any specific questions or things you wanted to talk about before I get into my list?
I didn't have too much. I just kind of saw this last minute and thought I would join because I realized it was happening now. So I didn't really know what it would be about, just other than that it was about kids and stuff. But I guess my one question would be, how to engage my kids more in the garden, get them really excited about it. Yeah.
Perfect.
But it's really important to me. So I want to show them that it's really important too, to know where their food comes from and stuff like that.
Perfect. So a little about me. I'm the owner and operator of EIEIO Farm. We're a urban farm in downtown Yellowknife. And I have a 2-year-old and 4-year-old. My 4-year-old, this will be, I guess, her 5th summer in the garden. She's currently just on the other side of the phone playing with plants as I'm talking to you. And she's been, like I said, she's been involved for about 5 years, and she helps us right from seeding in February and March, right to harvesting and cleanup in the spring, or in the fall, rather. So some of my suggestions are things that I've learned either personally or tips that have been given by other people. And the biggest thing that we have found really engaged both of our kids in gardening is planting for success and for immediate action. Because obviously kids have very short attention spans. And if they plant something that is going to take a long time to produce much or even to sprout originally, then they may start to lose interest really quickly. So that's been one of our best tips, is to do things that are more guaranteed to have success. So things like kick greens and radishes, which are really quick to sprout. And then beets and also vines. The frustrating thing with vines, so things like zucchinis, cucumbers, pumpkins.
Mom, these are the one more make a great thing for this one.
Okay. The thing with vines is they're really great. The vines themselves grow really well. They can be frustrating later in the season to not get much or any yield off them. So kids may find that a bit frustrating after working at it. The next big tip I have is to plant what they like. So ask your kids what vegetables they like, and then find varieties that are likely to grow in your area. So one of the things, my daughter, every year she asks to plant watermelons. Every year we plant them, and sometimes we get, I think we've gotten one watermelon about this big once. So now we make sure that we're only planting the varieties that we're most likely to have success with. And then that way, if there's things that they like to eat, obviously it's more fun to grow things that you like to eat.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you can also think about things that you want them to eat. So vegetables they don't like, Mom, or that they haven't even tried.
On your computer.
I know. You can just wait a minute. Then planting them and growing them can be a really fun way to learn to like them.
Mm.
So, you know, a vegetable that you've spent time planting and growing and caring for, then you might be more willing to try because you're like, well, I put a lot of effort into that. I'm going to try it. So, Sydney, what's a vegetable that you grew that you learned to like?
I forgot.
Carrots.
Oh.
Sydney used to not really like carrots, which I think is a little bit silly. They're my favorite. But she didn't really like them until we started to grow them. And then we grew fun ones that turn purple or ones that grow red carrots. And the fun of getting to pluck the carrot right out of the ground, rinse it off, and eat it definitely made her a big fan. So, Joanna, are there any veggies that your kids really want you to grow?
Yeah, they want to grow carrots and peas, and they also want to try watermelon and cantaloupe.
Oh.
Yeah,
Luckily,
but I wasn't too hopeful.
Yeah, there are some varieties of watermelons that are only supposed to be very small. We're testing those out this year. Another thing is to really engage all five senses. So thinking about gardens that have that you're able to taste things right away. So things like radishes that grow really quick, so you can taste them, or things that involve sound, being able to see the bugs moving and listening to the soil as they move. That can also be really engaging.
Mom, look, I fixed a reindeer Christmas ornament.
Hey.
It just had a crack here, and then I fixed it.
Okay.
With paint.
So Joanna, do you have anything planted indoors now that you're like planting inside to plant out later?
Yep, I have a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay.
All kinds of things.
Sydney, can you go upstairs and study for a phone charger, please?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So that's great. So I was going to talk about things that like should be started inside or outside, but if you've got some things started, that's great. It definitely helps to cut down on cost. Obviously you can buy seedlings at the store, and inevitably, even with as much indoor starting as we do still end up buying from the store for certain things. But the things that I always find kind of exciting this time of year is that we're getting close to direct seeding.
Yeah.
So like peas and beans, or sorry, not beans, but peas, beets, carrots, parsnips, radishes, all of those can be planted by seed within the next few weeks, which is really exciting. They will stay dormant until it's warm enough for them to grow.
Okay.
And yeah, peas are also one of my favorite things to grow because they're just really amazing. Any of the vines, so the peas, squash, cucumbers, they're so strong on all their little individual tendrils. And so they kind of become, a wall of plants through the course of the summer.
I planted some, sorry. I planted some inside and they're growing pretty tall. And I don't know if I was supposed to plant them so early, but they seem like they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should I just put them outside? Like, I know I have to harden them off and stuff, but should I start putting them outside soon?
What are they?
Candy cane.
What are they in?
They're in those those big Jiffy peat pot things.
Perfect. Because that's the only thing is with peas or any like the vine plants is that they are susceptible to the actual root bulb because the roots are not very strong with those plants. Sometimes if you start them inside and then plant them out, they can be damaged by taking them out of, like if you had them in like a pot like this, where you have to kind of forcefully flip them upside down and get them out. But yeah, either in the peat pots, or we have these ones that are actually made from cow poop. And then so we have all of our vine type plants in those, so then you just plant that whole thing in the ground. So the same thing with the peat pots. So starting them indoors in those definitely just gives them a good head start.
Okay. And so do you recommend like pulling any of the like tearing the top of it and pulling half of it off, or just leave it?
Yeah, so are they the ones that are kind of like kind of in like pantyhose sort of material, or are they more formed like this?
They're those kind, yeah.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I would basically dig your hole in the soil, break that piece in, or that into 4 pieces, and then set the whole thing down, and then that keeps the roots nice and protected in the soil that they're already in.
Oh, like put a rip on 4 sides, you mean? I mean 4 corners?
Yeah, and then that way as the roots go out, they'll be able to get out to the new soil.
Oh, you mean in the bottom of it then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then yeah, so planting those inside ahead of time is great. Things like carrots or parsnips, you can plant those just direct seeding them, because they won't really do anything inside. Like, it's not much of a head start. Whereas yeah, the peas, you'll get a bit of a start that way.
Okay.
And some things still can be planted inside to give you a head start. So greens, and then the brachias. So cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, and then any of the vine things. But like I said, with the vine things, you want to use the peat pots.
Okay.
Yeah.
And somebody gave me a beet, and it's in like one of those cartridges, like a milk carton.
Oh yeah.
And so is that, like, I don't know if I should be careful, like will the roots get disturbed easily with a beet when I transplant it?
I'm actually not sure. I would suggest it's in an egg, or is it in a milk crate, kind of like this, where it's
oh no, it's not plastic.
Like the carton style.
Mom,
yeah.
My present.
Sitting here. Can you go ask that if you're going to go upstairs and ask him? So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have any experience with that, especially where where the root is the fruit, or like is the vegetable. You want to definitely protect it. So I think what you would do is just dig big enough hole, and very gingerly kind of lift it out of the existing carton.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Is it just a single beet?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna plant more. I'm gonna direct seed more, but yeah.
My present for the birthday party.
Sweet. Then yeah, beets are actually, again, one of my favorite things, both to eat but also to grow, because it's so fun at the end of the season. You have no idea. You might pull out, long round beets. Or like sometimes I pulled one beet and it was like a ping pong ball, and then one with the same size top or even a smaller top, pulled it out and it's like a baseball. So it's always kind of a fun mystery to see what's going to happen, which is also a really engaging thing with kids. It's like, they'll be right down there at the ground seeing who can pull the biggest ones.
Yeah, they definitely are pretty engaged when it comes to pulling stuff out. They love that.
Yeah, that's definitely a fun part. One I guess one thing I forgot was, what type of garden are you gardening in? Like a raised bed, or in the ground in a greenhouse?
It would be a raised bed. We haven't built them yet, so
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it's got full sun. It will have full sun.
Okay, great. And are you planting many roots? So things like potatoes, carrots, radishes, or beets?
I'm gonna do beets and carrots because we really love those. We don't really like radish that much. I've tried doing radish one year and it just wasn't that satisfying. But
That's
yeah, yeah, just that's and zucchini as well. I don't know if that's do you pull out of the ground or I don't remember. I don't think I've ever grown
no,
it.
it'll be on a vine.
Oh, okay.
One of the cool things, again, for like child engagement is that because the root plants are slower to grow or to harvest, you can do greens on top. So you could plant like kale that's being harvested all summer that's growing alongside the beets that you're going to pull later. So it's kind of cool to have like above ground and below.
So you can just plant them right beside each other? Like really close, you mean? Cool.
Mm-hmm. And then things that get bigger through the summer, so like a cabbage, for example, it needs a lot of room in August, but it's just very small until then. So you also can plant shorter things around it and pull them along the way.
Right. So like what could I plant around it? Because somebody gave me a cabbage too.
Okay. So you could do onions that are going to get pulled earlier in the summer. And they also help each other, like bugs wise.
Okay.
Or things like kale that you can harvest early, you can keep small.
So how far apart would you plant it then from each other?
With the onions, we plant them right up against them. So like if there's a cabbage, we'll plant them in a ring around. Or
what about with kale or spinach?
Spinach, again, you can plant them right up against them, because with spinach here, with the long sun, spinach tends to bolt. So basically it shoots up a woody stem that the flower grows on. So you don't get as long with spinach plants. You have to constantly replant them. So you can plant a bunch at the beginning of the year, and then by the time cabbages are taking up space, the spinach is done anyway.
Okay.
So you can plant them really close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a few inches, I guess? A few inches away from each other? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Checking what else I've got here. Some of the fun things that we've tried planting, or that we've gotten to plant, is this rainbow mix of seeds. So it'll all in one patch grow purple, red, and orange carrots. So again, it's kind of fun for kids because you're engaging them and like, let's pull this carrot and see who can find a purple one or who finds an orange one.
Yeah,
so that's very
I
fun.
wanted to buy those multicolored ones, but I didn't know where to find them in town.
These ones aren't from in town. Just realized we do a bulk order from T&T Seeds midwinter, so that's where they came from. Another thing that can be helpful when planting with kids is seed tape. So this one is cucumbers. This one's from Canadian Tire. And you can see that it's very thin paper with seeds in it already spaced out. Which for things that really need their space, like cucumbers, that can be helpful because then you don't have to worry about little helpers having dropped other seeds along the way, as we have learned. Carrots, we tend to have to thin far more than other people may, because they just get thrown in like one corner of the whole box. other things that are kind of fun if you want to be able to show kind of the full plant cycle are sunflowers. We don't often get to the point where our seeds are big enough to really be eaten from our sunflowers, but it's cool because the seeds are so big that you're planting, that they're like tangible as you're planting. And then you can see the plant grow, and they grow really fast. This one, I think, is only about a month old, and it's like a foot tall already. And so they get to see how this big plant grow that at the end of the season has really visible seeds. So it's a good visual for the whole plant cycle, that you go from seed to seedling to plant to flower and then seed.
That's cool.
So if you have space and sun, those are helpful.
For the sunflower, somebody had given me one of those too, and it's also about a foot, but a lot of my plants fell over today from the wind. They're inside a greenhouse, and it just went over.
For 1 second. The fire alarm's going off in my building, so I'm gonna have to run out.
Oh, okay.
I'll be back.
I hope you're safe. Okay.
Okay. Talk to you after.
Okay, bye. They were in a greenhouse and blew over?
Yeah, just like one of those little mini greenhouses I got from Canadian Tire, and so I didn't realize it was that windy today, and so it blew over, and so that the top of it, actually, let me just show you. It kind of got wrecked, so I just pulled it off, and I don't know if you can even see that, but yes, like I pulled off the top, and I don't know if it's really gonna grow anything else. So I'm just wondering if I should like throw it out or not.
So
there's no top anymore.
Okay, so like there's no I don't know if you see that bud on the top of mine here.
That's
Is
right.
That piece gone?
Yeah, the bud got squished.
Okay, yeah, I think it will die then. Like I don't think it will reform a new bud. The plant may actually not die. The plant may grow, but no flower.
Okay.
We also had one that was out on the deck, and it did not fare well today. It like fell over and fully snapped. But enough of it was still hanging on that we have actually used Band-Aids to put it back together in hopes. But I was like, it was literally plant first aid. But yes, I think with the ball or the bud gone, that a new one wouldn't form, unfortunately.
Okay. That's good to know then. I won't waste my time with it.
Yeah, exactly. I tend to run what my husband calls a plant rehabilitation center while he runs a farm. So I'm like trying to hobble every plant along, and he's like, no, sometimes you just have to let them go.
Yeah.
Another fun one to grow kids. Did you ever eat kohlrabi or grow it?
I've never tried to grow it. I think I may have tried a piece of it when we had a bunch that came to Yellowknife that one year.
Yeah. So they look so cool when they're growing because they're kind of like a beet, and that they're just like a big round ball, but the ball is above the ground. They're not a root. And it has all these like arms that come out of it. It looks very alien-like. So that is another fun one for kids. How
do you cook it? Like, what do you do with it?
We usually like put it in stir fry. Like we'll like slice it up.
Okay.
I think people also shred it into salad because it's really like just kind of a crunchy element.
Okay.
And
that's really like,
this is
kind of like a cabbage, and you just let it grow till the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And they grow pretty well here. This is an example of like growing for success. Every year I grow radishes, even though I don't like them. My husband kind of like, he'll eat like 4 But we definitely grow them out of like that need for early season success to the, okay, I can wait for the rest of the vegetables now.
Okay.
And again, because they're a root vegetable, you know, fun for kids to pluck up.
Yeah.
Let's check what else I had here. Oh, and then I will show two things up here. One is where is it? There we go. So this is, I don't know, depending on the size of your screen, if you'll be able to read any of it, but it is a food value chain. So one of the things that we've tried to kind of use gardening for is to show our kids how much work growing even some food is. And then that way you can use that as kind of a jumping off point to talk about where other food comes from and all of the people involved in that. So we have like the farmers, then we have processors, we have truck drivers, we have the grocery store workers, restaurant workers, then we have all of us who purchase food. We have the waste management system, so compost, garbage, that type of thing. And then we have seed producers who then start this whole chain over again. So
that's cool.
Looking at visuals like that can be kind of helpful for having a discussion around the food that we can't grow. Then where does that come from?
Yeah. Could I get a copy of that?
Yeah, I can send you the link. And then the other one that I'll show you as well is a food gratitude, plant cycle.
Mom, do you want to hear my song?
Do I want to hear your song? Just hold on a second.
I do.
Are you ready to sing? Okay, sing. I bet this is a song that Joanna's heard before. Okay.
Sounds familiar.
Okay. And now this one, which also is kind of small, but again, is showing like seed to what would be a very small plant to a more mature tree, which then produces fruit, and we get our fruit. And in the middle, as all of this is happening, we have composting happening as well. So like just again another helpful visual of how plants grow, and being able to talk about the fact that we go from a seed to a little plant to a big plant to food, and then we can put the waste food or the peels, the cores, and compost, and then we start the cycle again.
Cool, that's great. I started homeschooling in September, so I wanted to make gardening a big part of our schooling curriculum, I guess you could say.
Great. So will your raised, great. And then will your raised beds be right in your yard so you can go out and check it out all the time?
Yeah, that's the idea. We were in the community garden, but I found it kind of hard to check up on them all the time. So I wanted to, like, we don't really have an official yard in the back, but it's just open space and then trees and rocks. So, but there's lots of area where there's just sun. So I just want to build some little boxes, and I have questions about that too. I don't know if you have experience building different size boxes, but I wasn't sure about, So I can ask you those later though.
Okay, yeah. That is cauliflower. That makes a really cool plant, right? One of the things we learned, because we have probably we have 2 different size boxes. And with needing like little people to reach in, having a slightly bigger box is nice because we've put some of the plants that we don't want the kids touching. So things like the vines where they get prickly, or the plants that are a little more fragile, we put them like in the middle of the box, and then we can put all the things that they can touch around the outside where they could reach, which is really helpful.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, so, well, yeah, it was just about like what size, like I know I have to do like 2 feet deep or something like that, or for like the root vegetables, but
yeah,
I guess what would be like, because we don't own the place, we're just renting, so I kind of want to take the boxes with me at some point, and I don't want to make them so big that we can't move them, but don't want to make them too small either that I can barely grow anything in them. So I was wondering if you knew a good size.
Conveniently, my garden box maker just walked to the basement. So what would be your suggestion? She's looking to grow or to build garden boxes, but in a rental. So like she wants to be able to take them with her, obviously. So she doesn't want to go too small and not be able to produce much, but also not like super big.
Right. Are you looking to take the whole thing with you? Because if I was having to move a unit anyways, I might consider those raised boxes on wheels.
Might consider what?
They're up on wheels, but so then the soil is all contained in them. I can, if you.
Yeah, that's what I was planning to make, but I don't know if it would be good to have wheels on it. Like, would it be still hard to move even with wheels?
Yeah. Maybe if you.
I believe France has them on wheels, is where I got that idea from. But I would think standard topsoil, where I'm from in the prairies, so take that for what it's worth, it might be slightly different, it's about $2,200 or 2,200 pounds a yard. And a box that's 6 inches deep by, say, 4 by 2 is going to be a tenth of that. So you'd be looking at 200 to 250 pounds of soil. So that's
so that would be a
totally manageable for a set of good casters. You just don't want to put cheap plastic wheels or anything.
Okay. So yeah. I hadn't really thought of the weight of the soil once you've put in it, obviously would be a factor. Because the thing with soil costs here is you definitely want to be able to take the soil with you, especially once you've invested time and invested the money and then also the time in like amendments and working the soil.
Yeah.
So yeah. If you sent, for some reason with Facebook, you can't, I can't message you as our page. It doesn't let you start a message, but if you message us at our EIEIO Facebook page, then I can send you back some suggestions for some of the like self-contained units.
Okay, sure, thanks.
Yeah. And then so then that way you could be able to look at the size of the space you have, and then I say at a minimum you'd want to go like 2 by 2 just to be able to have like 2 feet by 2 feet. To be able to have enough space, because you don't want to only be able to have like a cabbage or like 3 rows of carrots, that type of thing. If you're putting that much work into building the box, you want it to be useful. So if you message us, I can send you some ideas.
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Cheyenne, you're back. Does that mean you're safe?
Yes. So apparently there was just a little grass fire out behind our building, and in our building and everything. So they managed to get it contained though. So I just came back up.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I guess Joanna, if you don't have any other questions, we can finish off for tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Just mainly I was concerned about the boxes, so.
Perfect. Yeah, just feel free to reach out and we can give you some ideas.
Great. Oh, actually, there was one more thing. With
Yeah.
regards to building the boxes, my husband, he kept saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter what kind of wood," and I had kept hearing, like, from all my research, I kept seeing, cedar was best just because it lasts longer. But does it really matter if I use pine or cedar? Like, what's your opinion?
Ours are all pine.
Okay.
The biggest thing is that it not be pressure treated, just because of the chemicals involved with that. If they're gardens for food, but cedar would last much longer, but your initial investment would be higher then. So it's kind of a balance, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. That was it.
All right, great. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for helping me out too and answering my questions. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Awesome.
Okay. All right.
So, you can still, like, we don't have to reschedule, but if you'd like, we can also schedule you in for next week still.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go on the sheet and set a time.
Okay,
right.
Awesome.
Well, have a great evening, everyone.
Okay, thank you. See you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.